Hello everyone. This is class 24 of income tax for BCom 5th semester students. In all the previous classes, we have solved problems on identification of residential status. Then also we have solved some 15 marks question on incidence of tax and residential status. When we are calculating gross total income of any individual, and we find incidence of tax depending on his residential status, we come across four different important incomes, wherein first one is Indian income, second is foreign income, third is exempted income, and fourth is past untaxed foreign income. We all know what all are the Indian incomes. The income which is earned in India, which is deemed to be earned in India or accrue in India, income which is received in India or deemed to be received in India, all are known as Indian income, and Indian incomes are taxable to all the residential status such as ordinarily resident, not ordinarily resident, and non-resident. Therefore, Indian incomes are taken in all the three columns. Second kind of income is foreign income. In foreign income, there is one income which is a business income earned in foreign country, but the business is being controlled and managed from India. In that case, the amount is taxable or taken in two columns, that is to ordinarily resident and non-resident, not ordinarily resident. Wherein in case of non-resident, the amount is not taken or that income is not considered while computing gross total income. In foreign income, there is a foreign income which is purely known or considered as foreign income, where the income belongs to the foreign country, controlled and managed from foreign country, and even it is received in the foreign country, is chargeable only to the one column, that is to ordinarily resident column. And third income is a foreign income. Third income is an exempted income, where there is certain list of incomes. If you come across such kind of income, they should be treated as exempted income, and those incomes are not considered while computing gross total income of individual resident. And last kind of income is past untaxed foreign income, wherein the income earned in foreign country in the past years, which is brought into India in the previous year, will be given in the sum, and even that incomes are not considered while computing gross total income. So basically, there are four important kinds of income that we are considering while finding gross total income of residents. One is Indian income, taxable to all the three columns. Second, foreign income. Under foreign income, those foreign income that are earned through business or profession in foreign country, but those businesses are being controlled from India or are being managed from India, are known as foreign income, but taken in two columns, that is to ordinarily resident and not ordinarily resident. Third kind of incomes are exempted income, wherein those incomes are not considered while computing gross total income. Similar way, past untaxed foreign income which is brought into India in the previous years is also not taken while computing gross total income. In the previous classes, when we have solved sums on incidence of tax and residential status, we have come across one or two exempted incomes in each problem. In today's class, I am going to provide you the list of exempted incomes that are related to individuals, and henceforth, when you come across such incomes, you understand that these are the exempted income which are to be taken under third kind of income, that are exempted income, and amounts are not to be considered while computing gross total income of individual. So let us see the list of exempted incomes related to individuals under section 10 of Income Tax Act. First is agricultural income earned in India. Any agricultural income that is earned at any corner of India is exempted from tax. In the previous classes also we have seen that the agricultural income earned in Delhi, Bangalore, Belgaum, etc. are considered as exempted income, but the agricultural income that are earned in foreign country are considered while computing gross total income of individual. So first point, that is agricultural income earned in India is exempted from tax, wherein agricultural income earned in foreign country is taxable under foreign incomes, that is only to ordinarily resident, that is only to first amount column. Second, any sum received by individual as a member of Hindu undivided family. So any sum received by any member of Hindu undivided family is exempted from tax, because such sum that is being paid out under the income of the family is separately taxable. That is the reason any sum received by individual as a member of Hindu undivided family is exempted from tax. Third is, in case of a partnership firm, his share means partner's share in the total income of the firm shall not be included, as even he is separately assessed based on his total income. So any income that is received by a partner from the partnership firm as his share of income is exempted from tax. Coming to fourth point, any income by way of interest on money in a non-resident account in a bank, in any bank in India, in accordance with the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. Under Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, if any income is received by way of interest on money in a non-resident account in any of the bank is exempted from tax. Fifth is the sum received including the bonus under a life insurance policy. So any sum received by an individual including the bonus under a life insurance policy other than any sum received under subsection 3 of the section 80DDA or under a Cayman insurance policy. These are certain technical terms. Only thing you should remember is the sum received including the bonus under life insurance policy is exempted from tax. Sixth point, the value of any travel concession or assistance received by or due to a person from his employer for himself and his family in connection with his proceedings on leave or to any place in India, or from his employer or former employer for himself or his family. So any travel concession or assistance that is received by employer or by his family is exempted from tax. Seventh point is, any allowances or perquisites paid or allowed as such outside India. Any allowances or perquisites that is received by an individual outside India, but it is paid by government to a citizen of India for rendering services outside India. The allowances and perquisites are paid outside India to the citizen of India by the government for rendering the services outside India is exempted from tax. 8. Scholarship granted to meet the cost of education. So any scholarship that is granted to students to meet the cost of education is exempted from tax. Next, any income arising from the transfer of capital asset being a unit of the unit scheme 1994, which is given in the section 10 subsection 33. And the last point, any income chargeable under the head capital gain to an individual or Hindu undivided family arising from the transfer of agricultural land is also exempted from tax. So these are the 10 points that you need to remember when you are computing incidence of tax and residential status. One is agricultural income received in India. Second is any sum received by individual as a member of Hindu undivided family. Next, in case of a partnership of a firm, partner's share in total income of the firm shall not be included as he is separately assessed. Any income by way of interest on money in a non-resident account in any bank in India in accordance with the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. The sum received including the bonus under a life insurance policy. Then the value of any travel concession or assistance received by or due to a person from his employer for himself or his family in connection with his proceedings on the leave to any place in India or from his employer or former employer for himself and his family. Any allowances or perquisites paid or allowed as such outside India by the government to citizen of India for rendering services outside India. Then scholarship granted to meet the cost of education. Then any income arising from the transfer of capital asset being a unit of the unit scheme 1994 under section 10 subsection 3. And last is any income chargeable under the head capital gains to an individual or HUF arising from the transfer of agricultural land. So this is what is covered in today's class. In next class, we will solve case study problems.